I was like, just saying, great play.
I don't. I
I
don't.
think you do. I think you do. They do. It was like twist five with a spin, and I'll go. Okay, we're not gonna talk about it. Though. We're not
Okay,
gonna.
because it never happened. But all right. That's what's up, bro. I'm glad you enjoy your mom life. How's everything working with the Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. It's great. It's like I wanted this. I wanted this. You got it. You're like, oh dang, now I got it.
Yeah.
So it's like two sides of the coin. Like excited about it, ready to go, but then you realize like, it's a lot on your shoulders. Like people's
Yeah.
income, leadership wise, LLCs, all this other stuff. So you're just like, all right, gotta get to work. But it's
Yeah.
good. Just enjoying it.
Like, how old are you? 27, 28?
27. Don't do that. Don't give me extra years.
That's what's up though. To me, owning a franchise in the Chick-fil-A at 27, man, that's big. That's real big, actually.
I feel about 35 most days, but yeah, 27.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I imagine that's a lot on your shoulders, so I can totally imagine. But cool. Yeah, I wanted to invite you in for the "Women Make the World Go Round" little video series. So I'm glad you.
Great.
So I'm recording this. It's gonna be posted to a website, couple websites.
Dang, I'm about to blow up. I knew it.
I have a line in front of your Chick-fil-A. That's what we aim for.
Listen, we about to. I gotta let them know. Get ready. I'm about to blow up.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. But so we're starting like this. You could just tell me your name and your current title as far as like job title or whatever title you want to go by.
Yeah. So my name is Chyress Obregon. Right now, I'm considered an operator select. What that means is I've been selected to own and operate Chick-fil-A here in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm excited about that. Soon, I got two twin boys. There'll be one. So my next title will be Mom 24/7. They start talking. And then I'm also a wife. So me and my husband been married 2 years now, coming on 3. Ex-military. He was a Marine for a while. He's finally home. So that's a little bit about me. Used to ball. Definitely could have went to the league. I'm just saying, from ACL, but definitely had that potential. You know what I mean? I had that potential, but no, no.
I ain't gonna hold
Yeah,
you.
that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, cool. So I know you said hometown. So from Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Um, what was that like growing up in Cleveland? And why do you want to operate your Chick-fil-A there now? Or was it a choice?
Yeah, so yeah, you do get a choice. It is very rare to get a Chick-fil-A where you're from. Just a little numbers. I think for my store by itself, like thousands of people apply, like 40,000 people apply each year for Chick-fil-A, and only like 120 are built. So I'm truly blessed. I count it as an honor to even have a Chick-fil-A, to have the opportunity. But then to have it in my hometown, just a double blessing. Grew up on 93rd. For anybody who knows Cleveland, knows it's a little rougher part of the neighborhood, but yeah, grew up here. My dad's from here. He went to Kennedy, played football. Just growing up in Cleveland, for me, it was fun. I mean, it was fun. It's community wise. My dad's a pastor. Everyone knew my dad. That means everybody knew me. So I was that PK kid, whatever. But just being a part of a community that poured into me. I mean, there was times where I wanted to do dumb stuff and they're like, oh, no, you're Lockhart's kid. Like, you can't do that. It's just looking out for me before I knew how to look out for myself. And that's why I'm really excited to be back in my hometown to pour into young kids and be like, hey, I know you don't understand the steps you need to take to get to where you need to be, but I'm here to coach. I'm here to give you those steps. I mean, because for a point for me, I mean, at first I was going to be a doctor. I didn't think, coming from 93rd, like ain't too many doctors just walking down the street with briefcases. So somebody sat me down and was like, every dream is just steps to it. Just take those steps and you can get there. So just instilling that into kids, like, hey, if you got a flame, you got a fire, keep feeding that fire, but just know you might have to take more steps depending on where you're from. But at the end of the day, it's just steps to get to where you need to go. So that's why I love being an operator. Now I can walk around, say what I want, do what I want, and give paid for it. Yeah.
That's so. So, do you think anything specifically from your childhood has like? I know you mentioned a few times maybe somebody sat down to you or had a community poured into you, but is there anything specifically you can remember from your childhood that has directly aided to you being where you are now?
Man, I have to say, honestly, my parents, my mom's a social worker, my dad's a pastor, and just seeing like how they pour into the community, like, I mean, just give up themselves day in, day out, and just watching them give their all just for people they didn't even know. Just like, hey, this is what we do. And it wasn't about the money. I mean, as most people know, social workers, you're not bringing home a ton of money. And my dad wasn't a mega church pastor, so he's not bringing home a ton of money. So just seeing them just really do it out of their heart, just like out of this is who we are as people, like out of I want to help my fellow neighbor. just watching that day in and day out, and then talking to my mom about work, all the like cases she brought, like how she had to deal with this and deal with that, but yet she was still happy every day,
Yeah.
still joyful and all this, and just seeing like, man, life really can suck, but it's up to you to turn around. It's up to you to count it to what you want it to be, to count it all joy. So really just growing up in a less, financially stable home, but knowing that each and every day things are going to be taken care of because A, we trust and believe in God, and B, always believe you do the right things, you get a reward for it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, like, what led you to transition from wanting to be a doctor to operating a Chick-fil-A?
Man, I still don't know sometimes, but now. So, I was in West Virginia working at Chick-fil-A part-time. And then just, over the summer, I was staying there to play basketball. I'm not serving no chicken. Like, I'm not slinging chicken. Like, I got a biochem degree. Like, I'm trying to make things for my families. I'm trying to make things shake. I'm trying to shake the world. Like, you can't do that shaking chicken. So my operator, Tom Mincer, he actually sat me down and he was like, yo, I see potential in you. And I'm like, oh, bet. Cool. I'm about to be a doctor though. So, you do what you want. And then he was like, no. Like, I really see it. Like, I really feel like, you can do something with Chick-fil-A. And I remember sitting down with him, just having an honest conversation, like, hey, this is what I want to do in life. This is where I want to be. So I'm sorry, it's just not for me. Like, I want to change the world. I want to help the youth. I want to make it financially stable for my family so we don't have to struggle. And he sat me down and was like, hey, I understand all that. You can have all of that with Chick-fil-A. And so the term I will never forget, he said to me, was like, hey, do you want to save lives as a doctor? Or do you want to change lives as an operator? I was like, dang, you was waiting. You was holding that for some years, weren't you? Just to jump right then and there. I was like, any day I want to change lives. You're right. I want to change lives. And he was like, well, then stick with me for 2 years. And if it ain't what, I think you could be at it, then you can go back to medical school. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Did 2 years, fell in love with it. Just the aspect of like team, competitive, always trying to do what's next. And just I think the heart behind Chick-fil-A, like a lot of people get Chick-fil-A mixed up with a lot of things they read, but until you've worked in Chick-fil-A, you truly know the heart behind Chick-fil-A. You don't understand like how much they pour into people and give of themselves. Like they're not a public company. It's not like we're getting investors pouring in. Like this is a private company still. It's the people inside who are like pouring to others and giving people like me a chance to own and operate. Like as you said, 27. Like that's not something McDonald's or anybody else is going to do, but they gave me a chance and bet it on me. So I'll always be grateful for Chick-fil-A. So that's why I'm still here loyal to the brand.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's great actually. You're right, because a lot of people do just judge Chick-fil-A based off of what they hear and see in the news. I just go based off of what I get every time I come into Chick-fil-A. It's my pleasure. Everybody's smiling. I almost kind of felt like they were beating people in the back of Chick-fil-A, but I know that's not the case. But in your industry, you're already young, I feel like, to be operating a Chick-fil-A. Now, what do you think is the percentage of women operating Chick-fil-A's compared to men? Is there more men or more women?
Oh yeah, definitely more men. I mean, that's just corporate America in general. It's definitely more men. If we're talking about Black females in Chick-fil-A, there aren't a lot. I think it's less than 50. Like out of all the Chick-fil-A's, I think it's less than 50. I had the exact number the other day and completely forgot, but it's less than 50. And a lot of that is just the fact that there's not a lot of people pouring into, young African Americans, young Black females to say like, hey, you can do this. So like I said, a lot of people have a misconception about Chick-fil-A, how to own a Chick-fil-A. A lot of people feel like, yeah, I got the money, I can just buy a Chick-fil-A. That is not the case. Like it does not work that way. It only costs $10,000, but that is the least of your concerns having that $10,000. Like it's so much more. And I think for a lot of people, once they figure out it's more, they just get turned off to the ideal. But that's one thing I love about operatorship. Like the basis behind being operators, pouring into people, making more operators from operators. And so with there being more African-American females, like my friend just got a store in California. She's African-American female, Chick-fil-A in San Diego. And now we're reaching the young youth African-Americans like, hey, you can do this. Like, I know you haven't heard of it. I know you don't know how to do it. Stick with me. I can show you how, like my operator did for me. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's not more so it's not opportunity in Chick-fil-A. It's just like, a lot of people don't know. Like, they don't know how to get started. They don't know how to do it because Chick-fil-A's, let's just be fully transparent, the neighborhoods they're in aren't always the most diverse. I mean, it's just a business play. It costs a lot, so you got to put in neighborhoods where you can afford a lot. That does not mean that just because you're from 93rd like me that you can't own and operate a Chick-fil-A.
Right. Okay. So, like, what does it mean to be, in a sense, a double minority in this industry? Like, is it empowering? Is it encouraging? Is it a little bit intimidating? What is it like?
Man, I tell people It's good. It's good. I would say Chick-fil-A is the only company I could ever work for. Quick service fast food restaurant. Great heart, great heart. But like we know a lot of things, just because people have a great heart behind what they do, they don't always say the right thing. And that's with everything. I will say Chick-fil-A has a great heart, and they do things the right way. I will say that. But when there's not a lot of you, there's not a lot of your views. So the more of us that's in the organization, more of us in the industry, the better it's going to be. But just being a double minority, honestly, a lot of times I forget in Chick-fil-A because they are more team. Like that's more Chick-fil-A's things. Hey, we're a team. We're going to get together. We're going to make this happen. But at the end of the day, things happen, especially, with guests, with other team members, other people in LDP. There have been times where there's like, hey, let me speak to the person in charge. I'm just like, yeah, sorry, that's me. So like, yeah, that does happen every now and then. Like, I need to speak to the owner. I'm like, wow, you're already speaking to it. So yeah, how can I help you? So things like that happen, of course, but that's just corporate America in general. People just never assume, especially because I'm short too. So like the short black girl, is the one in charge, But honestly, any other company, I'll probably have a bunch of stories how I was mistreated, but nah, no one's ever mistreated me in Chick-fil-A or anything like that. They might say something like, "Oh, your hair got longer today." Like, "Oh, okay, let's talk about what extensions are." Other than that, yeah, that's about it.
Gotta break it down to them.
Yeah. Because they just think it just grows overnight. Like, yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
I don't know. Maybe we should keep it a secret though. So I know you were in school to be a doctor. Is that what you wanted to be, or like what did you want to be as a child? What did you see yourself doing?
Yeah. So honestly, being a doctor came from my competitive nature. Honestly, first college I went to was in Morgan State, HBCU, shout it out. And I was there in class. I was about basketball, I was about ball, and I'm going to the league. You feel me? I don't really care about this other stuff. So I'm in class like, hey, pick a major. Why not chemistry? I like to pick the hardest thing, see what happened. And I remember sitting in class and my teacher's like, hey, everybody stand up, tell a little bit about yourself. And so I stand up like, yeah, I'm on the women's basketball team, whoop, whoop, all this other stuff. And she's like, yeah, leave the class. And I'm like, oh crap, what did I do? What did I say wrong? And I'm sitting there. She comes out and she's like, yeah, I don't let athletes in my program because you guys don't take it serious. And so she was like, yeah, I don't let you guys, be a part of this major. And so in that moment, I was like, no, you're not going to just tell me I can't be a chemistry major. So I remember that first semester, man, I'm in the library, sleeping, studying, and I get a 4.0. And, I'm feeling myself now. So I go in her office and like, damn, all right, Dr. Winstead, what now? And she was looking in my eye and she was like, I knew you were going to be fine when you stayed outside my classroom. She was like, never let anybody tell you what you can or cannot be. So that's how the doctor became a thing. Is that, I always saw doctors on TV. I thought like, I'm from 93rd, I don't, let me just do something that's, above what my parents did, a little bit better than the generation before. And after she told me like, never let someone tell you what you can or cannot do, I'm like, well, then I'm just going to be the biggest one, doctor or lawyer, which one it is. And I knew I like chemistry. So I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. So that's how the doctor thing sort of got going. Like, hey, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what I can or cannot do. So, yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, looking at your journey, reflecting on everything, reflecting on where you come from, all of that good stuff, what is one thing you would say to you, to anybody considering maybe a career change, to anybody just needing to hear some advice from somebody who's successful in your position? What's one thing you could say, or any tips or secrets to success you could share?
Yeah. So I'm studying this book. First and foremost is me being a Christian. Like I always trust God. Like, hey, I know I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. I know I'm gonna do a lot of dumb things, but I trust you to make it happen for my good. So that's the first thing I always say. But I actually start reading this book. It's called an Ikigai. It's like everybody needs to find their Ikigai, and basically it's like 5 circles. Yeah, have you heard of it? It's like 5 circles, and it's like, hey, what you love to do, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can get paid for. And it's like, blanked on the last one. But if all those things line up and in the middle is what you want to do, then you need to go after regardless of what the consequences, what you can do. Because if you're living in that circle, you'll forever be happy. You'll never feel forced to go to work. You'll be able to pay your bills. You'll feel like you're contributing to the world. You'll feel like it's something you can grow and succeed in. So anybody saying like, hey, I'm thinking about a career change, you probably need to change career because that means you're not in your Ikigai. That means you're not doing what you love to do. But also be strategic and smart about it. I mean, don't quit your job when you got bills to pay. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to keep your lights on to be able to plan out what you want to do, make a path. Like a lot of people want to be famous today. A lot of people want to be rich today. I mean, I've been doing this thing for 5 years. I mean, how long have you been hearing like, yeah, Sharice getting Chick-fil-A, Sharice getting Chick-fil-A? It's been a process. Like, yeah, I started off as a crew member in drive-thru, and now I'm here. And I think for a lot of people, they just want it now. But to understand, like, it takes time to really make something happen. Don't get impatient about it. Like, plan it out. And the last thing is just know your why. Because there's going to be times where you want to give up. There's going to be times where you're like, this crap is not going to happen. There's going to be times where you're just like, hey, it's not coming together. But as long as you know your why and why you're doing, you can always go back to that. Like for me, I was like, hey, I'm meant to change the world. Like I'm meant to do things different. I'm meant to be set apart. So every time I had a hard time in LDP, every time I felt like, hey, I'm not going to get a store, I'm like, man, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to make people better. So if I have a chance to do that, forget about the store. Forget about being an operator. I had a chance to pour in somebody's life. That's why I'm here. It's not to be an operator. So those are my 3 things. Keep God first. Find your Ikigai. You know your why.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. I mean, that was pretty much all the questions I had for you. If you have anything else you want to share, the floor is yours.
No, I mean, enjoy life, I guess. I mean, you got to enjoy it and know that life is not meant to always be happy. I mean, I think a lot of people get that misconception that it's always sunshine, and if you're not happy 24/7 and you're not living the right life, no, it's hard sometimes. Like it is, it's frustrating. Even when you're doing what you love to do, like it's frustrating. But just enjoy it, yeah. Because I love my kids, but those suckers, oh my goodness, like, you're like, why did I get 2? But yeah, you just gotta enjoy it. Yeah.
So that's what's up. Well, I appreciate you. Appreciate you taking the time to stop the recording.